Well, the biggest tribunal case from the weekend, Ralph, is Stephen May. What's the fallout for the important demon?
Well, not just this week, potentially the last decade, given how seismic this one is. This is really a test case with Stephen May. Add it to the test cases like Hunter Clark and David Mackay, the Braden Maynard smother on Angus Brayshaw. This is the first time the MRO has had a chance to send a case to the tribunal, but only given it 3 weeks since the start of last year when it had that facility. So Michael Christian is basically pleading for guidance from the AFL tribunal. He and Laura Kane have both said to people across the weekend this is the toughest decision they've had in their time at the AFL, and for Chriso that's been 9 years. So Chriso's judgment is that May absolutely had too much velocity coming into this incident, and of course he needs to accept the ramifications of it, but the tribunal is going to set a new precedent for the next couple of years. So the fascinating side subject to this conversation, guys, is concussion and whether the AFL is prepared to live with it. So we've now seen 5 incidents that have potentially been, certainly have seen players not suspended or potentially in the May case overturned. So these are the 5 incidents either cleared by Chris O or, as I say, with Alex Pearce, got up to the tribunal, sent back for no penalty. Bucks, I think you've been a cynic at times of whether the MRO only considers the outcome. It's just too outcome-based. But I think the question here is we're realising there are areas of the game where we have to preserve certain parts of football, even if there is the odd concussions. And I think certainly if May is suspended, we'll take away a part of that. Otherwise, we'll get to that situation where potentially a knee in the back of the head in a marking contest could see someone suspended. Bucks, what's your thoughts on this? Can we accept a level of concussion in cases like the Stephen May case?
Oh, I think that's exactly what we have seen recently, Ralphie. I do think that there has been an acceptance in the last, and some of those incidents, case in point, in the last couple of months where we understand that there are going to be collisions in the act of playing the game that are hard to slate back to, the careless conditions or the careless actions of an individual. So I think that this is what's always up for debate. So the tribunal will be sitting against Stephen May to say, were your actions careless in the circumstances?
Well, do you think they were?
I don't think they were.
You don't?
I think you need to prove...
Intent and careless are different things, though.
Intent is apparently not part of it. It's what
unless it's deliberate off the ball, which is the only way you'll get intentional.
What would a reasonable player do in those circumstances is what will be asked.
So what's your gut feel? Is he in trouble?
I think he's going to win the footy.
So 0 weeks?
I can't see how that can be upheld.
I think he's in trouble because of the mood at the moment, but I'm not sure what his alternative is.
What do you mean by the mood?
Well, because now if you hit a bloke in the head, and he hurt the Carlton boy, didn't he?
But it used to be if you left the ground, you were vulnerable. Yeah. Stephen May didn't leave the ground.
Okay.
Evans at the last second tries to evade Stephen May, which should be in their case. And Stephen May's 195 centimetres. Frankie Evans is 180. So there's 15 centimetres difference, which means that his head meets his shoulder.
The ball pops up on the last bounce. It's running away, pops back up towards Evans. Like there's evidence that Melbourne will go to that I think put enough doubt in any case to try and prove that was absolutely careless and unreasonable.
Well, I think this is a lay down misere for 3 weeks. This is a clear hit to the head.
No.
From a shoulder.
So you don't think he was contesting the ball?
I think the velocity that he's come in at is...
defensive 50. What are you going to do? Just dance around him?
Tackle him.
Well, the ball
you're second to the ball, and I'm not sold that that's a play on the ball either.
What was it then?
I feel like he came in at a fast speed, and you might judge the bounce of the ball there, but he just continued to run straight.
How do you prove that?
Well, that'll be up for the tribunal. I think there's so much grey area. That's why you see someone
half a second late,
like myself on one side and so many people vehemently on the other side there.
What about Alex Pearce?
He's collected him. And this is what's going to happen, Mike, is that how well Stephen May can go to tribunal and plead his case. Because Alex Pearce did that and did it very well, and that's why he got off. The different thing with Alex Pearce, though, is that there was a motion to spoil the ball.
He left the ground.
I don't feel like Stephen May made a real football motion.
Do you think there's this Toby Green element about Stephen May?
Well, I think we're starting to develop, mate. He's loosely known for these high-velocity collisions.
His hands were down. How can he not make a play at the ball if your hands are down?
Here. It's up there.
What would you have done, Jack?
I would have slowed up. And I don't know whether Stephen May's got this in... I don't know if there's the ability to teach Stephen May to slow down, because that's what he is. He's a brute. You've played with him.
Jordan, don't go to the ball.
Down.
No, absolutely not.
Jordan wouldn't have slowed down.
The only thing, if I'm...
No, you play... yeah. Well, I mean, we can have this argument all night. I think he's unlucky. You think he's not unlucky. That play to me seems like he was playing the ball. Now, there's a lot of other...
If I'm the AFL, I'm asking, why didn't you put your hands out to try and get to the football first? That would be... The answer to that question will be instructive, whether Stephen May can answer that clearly enough to mitigate against the carelessness.
No, Steve's whole intent was to get the ball clearly. If you just look at his pure intent, it was purely for the ball.
Both players were in line with the ball, seemed to be attacking it, to be fair, if I'm being brutally honest, and both sort of making a play at the ball. Maybe one person was one step late.
Kicks looking for Moyer, who's streaming towards half forward. Hand pass over the top, missed Evans. Loose ball, chance one direction, May the other. Big collision as Evans is cleaned up.
May had a decision to make. Evans collected.
Handball over his head. Frankie Stephen May cleaned him up the other way.
That was a huge hit.
It's a tough one, isn't it? He didn't lift the arm. He was desperate to go for the ball. He put the hands down for the ball, and then he probably, these days, you have to step out of the way, don't you?
Yeah, he's elected not to pull out. He was wanting to play the footy just the last second. He done the little brace, and that's all it takes, unfortunately.
I don't know whether our game is capable of allowing that anymore.
He picked him off. It's as simple as that. He knew exactly what he was doing, and he picked him off. This is from a bygone era.
I don't know, other than not compete, what can Stephen May do there?
He looks nonplussed, doesn't he? He's going, what else could I do?
He's of the Tom Lynch mould,
yes,
who doesn't mind hurting the opposition, though, so that doesn't help with that history either.
And unfortunately, in the game we're playing, has got to be coached slightly different. Because we know any sort of contact like that and high is going to be looked at really, really closely.
This is a 6-weeker. He's played his last game for the season.
He's in a bit of Barney rubble, unfortunately.
So a concussion, a broken nose and a displaced tooth. That's what Francis Evans wears. The process here is really interesting, as Michael Christian referred this directly to the tribunal rather than issuing a 3-match ban. So it was graded as careless, high and severe. I think that's an acknowledgement of how in the margins this is. So had a 3-match ban been issued, Melbourne have to challenge, put up 10 grand. This way, it sort of goes to arbitration. This is to be argued and decided. And from what we gather, the AFL's not going to ask for more than 3 weeks. So they haven't referred it to the tribunal to max out the penalty.
Right.
This has been sent as a true test case, and it will swing largely on the evidence of Stephen May. Before I get to that, just give me your view as a former player.
So, watching it live, I thought he was a genuine player on the ball. Absolute genuine player on the ball. And we all see him differently. And I congratulate all the discourse over this. There hasn't been anything, over the top. I'd argue, I don't think he tried to pick him off. I don't think that's what his intention was. But what we're going to get down to is what can be acceptable in a second. Because the minute, or not the minute, the millisecond where May decides that he's not going to get there. Because I think right up till there, he's absolutely genuinely thinking he can get to that footy first. And then it's about what's acceptable in that split second. What can he do? What's accepted? What is expected to do in a circumstance like that? And I don't think he braced. I don't think he covered up to try and clean him up, if you like, or pick him off, as one of the boys said. I think it was just, OK, I'll maintain my momentum forward here. And the contact came to his shoulder. And then, so they're going to argue, I would imagine the AFL will argue, the split second you realise you weren't going to get to that footy, you needed to either not stop, but slow down and cover and throw your arms out, for instance. Is that something that he could be expected to have done?
So I think the Alex Pearce case is instructive here. It's not the same because one's a marking contest and one's a ground ball, but I do think reading back over it today is some of what the measuring, the decisive elements were hold. The first is that the tribunal made an absolute virtue that the evidence Pearce gave was thoughtfully given and it was obvious that he endeavoured to answer truthfully. So this will swing hugely on Stephen May's evidence at the tribunal, whether he's able to explain precisely what he did and whether it measures up with the vision.
Yep.
The Pearce case swung on, and I'll just relate this to May. Did May have a realistic chance of winning the ball until the very last moment?
I would
He's
argue
got his hands down, ball's coming towards him, then the ball sits up.
Yep. I would argue that he absolutely thought he had a play on the ball.
And then when he realised he wasn't going to get to the ball, did he do anything to minimise the contact?
Yeah. Well, that's in the margins. Did he do anything to maximise contact? Absolutely not. Did he cover up? Did he jump off the ground? Did he turn his body? I'd say no. And is it reasonable then to expect him to have been able to minimise? Because I don't think Alex Pearce did. So Alex Pearce was coming with a velocity that continued on. He didn't bring his arm up or anything like that. And I looked at the Alex Pearce thing a lot this morning as well. So I don't think there's a hell of a lot different. So, look, it'll be an arguable case. And whether he gets off is going to be really interesting. I think the Alex Pearce case gives him great hope to go there and put it and go. He's on the pedestal as much as anyone, Stephen May, as you rightly said. I remember talking about Alex Pearce, and you said Alex Pearce is a very smart, thoughtful. He can communicate really well, and that held him in good stead. So here's the challenge for Steve May. I think he genuinely believes that he was hard done by.